Hi there. We're a bit late today, but we're looking at Mark chapter 6, verses 14 to 29. That's Mark chapter 6, verses 14 to 29. Pause the video, have a read, we'll chat. So today in Mark's Gospel, we find out what happened to John the Baptist. And we can see it's a reasonably gruesome tale. We met John the Baptist at the very start of Mark's Gospel when he came preparing the way for Jesus, and we saw him baptise Jesus. And then we told in Mark chapter 1, after he was put in prison, Jesus started preaching. And then we followed Jesus along, and we were left wondering at that point, what do you mean John was put in prison? How did that happen, and what happened to him? And today we find out what happened, and we find out that John was actually put to death. We find this out because a number of people are starting to wrestle with the question which we've been wrestling with as we look at Mark's Gospel: who is Jesus? And one of the things that he said that there are a number of people who have various answers to that. Some people, we're told, say that he's Elijah or one of the prophets, but some people, as Jesus becomes well known, say that Jesus is John the Baptist raised from the dead. Now, anyone who'd seen Jesus knew that Jesus and John the Baptist had been around at the same time, and so that wouldn't really make sense, but people's answers to these kind of questions sometimes don't always make sense, and this is one of those times. They think he's John the Baptist raised from the dead. And that worries King Herod, because King Herod had John the Baptist put to death, in fact beheaded. And we then hear how that happened. And there's a couple of things it's worth pointing out here. One is that Herod was curious about John. In fact, he'd even almost had him arrested and put in prison to protect John from Herod's wife. King Herod had married his brother's wife, his brother's betrothed, and there'd been some scandal attached to that. And John had been saying that's not lawful. It was not a lawful marriage to do that. At one level, Herod, didn't care about that, but at another level, he wanted to as he was at least theoretically king of the Jews, he wanted to kind of make sure that he was at least superficially looking like he was obeying all the Jewish religious laws. And here's John saying, you've broken a fairly serious one about the marriage laws. Because Herodias didn't like what John had said, and didn't, unsurprisingly at some level, Herod, though, did kind of like John, or at least want to protect him, and was curious to hear him. We're told that Herod liked to listen to John and was greatly puzzled, but kind of liked to have him around. But here's the problem, isn't it? Just liking to listen to someone is not the same as actually listening to them and actually taking on board what they say. A whole lot of people had come out to John, we're told at the very start of Mark's Gospel, and been baptised, and they were looking for forgiveness of sins. Here was John saying to Herod, you've sinned, but John also had been talking about how to be forgiven, and certainly could have pointed Herod to Jesus, who would have shown Herod how to be forgiven. But Herod didn't really want to be forgiven as such, or didn't think he needed to be, but he did like having John around as like almost good entertainment and thought-provoking discussion. Jesus is more than thought-provoking discussion. You may even be the type of person who likes kind of having those discussions and is kind of curious to hear about Jesus, not enough that it'll change your life, but enough that you might you're interested to hear about him. Unfortunately, that's not going to save you. Jesus didn't come just to give us interesting after-dinner conversation. Jesus didn't come just to provoke our thoughts and make us think differently about life. Jesus came to save us. Jesus came to bring the kingdom of God. We run the risk of, if we treat Jesus just as if he's kind of good conversation and interesting to think about, but don't want to let him get too close, and he'll puzzle us, but, and we'll enjoy listening to him, but we don't want to kind of let him get affect us too much, they will end up like Herod, who eventually, thanks to a fairly unfortunate series of events, ends up rejecting John the Baptist. We're told an opportune time came. He gave a banquet for his high officials. He probably got quite drunk, as you would at this kind of banquets. And then the daughter of Herodias, his wife, comes in to dance. We're not told in what form she danced, although given that we're told she pleased Herod and his dinner guests, it's at least possible that she danced in a way that got them all going, shall we say. And then the king, unfortunately, makes a rash promise. Ask for anything you want, I'll give it to you. Up to half my kingdom. And it's almost like he's making the promise to big note himself amongst all his dinner guests. Whatever you want, I'll give it to as that sort of thing. He expects she'll ask for some money or perhaps some jewellery or something else. But she, like a good daughter does, goes out and asks her mother, what should I ask for? And her mother takes the opportunity when she sees it. Go back to your stepfather, she says, and say, give me the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Herod is upset, doesn't want to do it. But he feels constrained by this rash vow he made, and he doesn't want to embarrass himself in front of his guests. And so he goes and makes the order and goes and presents the head of John the Baptist to Herodias' daughter. What a shame. Herod had many opportunities to repent as he heard John the Baptist speak. He did not take them. Herodias only needed one opportunity to get what she wanted, and she took it. Herod knew that what he was doing was kind of wrong. He didn't want to do it, but he allowed himself to be manipulated by his embarrassment that his guests were there, by his daughter-in-law, by his wife, by everything around him. He might have been the king, but he was not in control of events that day, was he? But in the end, the problem was that he wasn't willing to listen seriously to what John said. He liked the idea of having him around, he liked the entertainment, but he wasn't willing to listen. What a warning this is for us, isn't it? Let's make sure that we are willing to listen carefully and seriously to Jesus, knowing full well that listening to him properly will change our lives, will turn our lives upside down. We can't treat him as just an interesting person to have for after dinner conversation. He is the King of the world, and when we listen to him, our lives cannot stay the same. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your word. We thank you for John the Baptist, that he suffered, but that he did not give in, he did not disown you. Father, please help us to listen carefully to Jesus, to listen seriously to Jesus, to not treat him as interesting after dinner conversation, but as life-changing, as the life-changing King of the world who brings in your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen. I'll see you tomorrow.